At Knock Embroidery, we believe in building things the right way, through research, preparation, and hands-on experience. We've turned knowledge into action, and action into a thriving operation. This is Off Contact, a behind-the-scenes look at the work, the wins, and the lessons that built our craft. Alright, well, this is happening. So, here we go. So, welcome to the very first episode of Off Contact. I'm Casey, and with me are Steve and Gavin. Before we get into what the podcast is all about, I want to start with the people behind it. So let's kick things off with Steve. He's been here a little over 2 months, something like that. So you came from another shop, though, and what made you take a chance on Knock Embroidery?
Well, first and foremost, I've been wanting to move to the Jacksonville area for probably 15 years now. But in and out of the restaurant business and stuff like that, was always just taking a chance on somebody else instead of somebody taking a chance on me. After meeting with the Demons Behind Me guys and you here at Knock, I realized that you were the ones taking a chance on me, and it really allowed me to finally pack up my things, get in the car, head north, and be in a little cooler climate when it comes into the wintertime especially.
Definitely. Yeah. What was maybe one of the biggest adjustments moving from, I guess, a well-established operation to something that's brand new and kind of like just getting off the ground?
Oh, there wasn't much of an adjustment when it came to what we were producing and how we were doing it. It was more of who we were producing for. Where here now, most of our focus is on the production we do for Demons Behind Me, where it's artwork and ideas that are coming from the people that we work with every day, compared to doing pretty much 100% third-party production. So we were doing a lot of prints at my old shop for family reunions and law offices or baseball teams. So we were always set in on colors, prints, images with no ideas or no feedback to anybody. What can make it maybe look better or print easier, because we can't effectively change another company's artwork or logos. Where here, we have an idea, we see something on the press that we don't like, we can go to the guys that we're producing for and say, listen, it might be easier if we did it like this, or maybe this color looks good. And they actually take our feedback. Sometimes they like it, sometimes they don't, but at least it's willing and able to be heard.
Yeah, no,
100%.
Absolutely. And I definitely get the idea of like basically serving a lot of different masters as opposed to serving one master. It's sometimes a little bit easier. Not that that's the only thing we want to do, but that's kind of what got us started in the first place.
Yeah.
When you first saw our setup here, what did you think? Like, what went through your head? And I know it's changed a little bit in the last couple of months, but since you got here, what do you think?
It was a lot more than you made it seem when we first spoke.
Yeah.
Which is great, but you're expecting to be doing most of the production for one apparel company, and you don't expect to have work every day, all day long, because how much is the company selling this product and how are we doing? But it was well run, but the only thing I think is maybe I added a little grease to the machine to make it run a little smoother and more productive and easier on the two of you who were running what should be at least a 3 or 4 man shop with 2 people, which was a lot on your backs.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and you know what, like having somebody come from a well-established shop who knows kind of even just like industry standards. Like I use that term a lot because, like, as I'll talk about later, like my background is not in screen printing. My background is not in art. My background is in IT, sales, real estate, things like that, running departments. So like having somebody here who can say that's not standard or no, that's not right, like is super helpful. And it has been awesome having somebody who is able to say, like, even just like the little things like you talk about with like our inventory, right? And
Yep.
like counts and different things like that. Because like Gavin and I, we're just throwing stuff on the machine, pulling it off, sending it through, and then boxing it up, sending it to the girls upstairs, and nobody knows how many we printed. And, so like now we have a very crystal clear, cohesive, god damn This episode of Off Contact is brought to you by Knock Embroidery, the team behind the mic and behind every stitch. From hats, shirts, and jerseys to DTF prints, screen printing, or custom embroidery, we can serve every need. Whether you're building a brand, outfitting a crew, or creating something unique to you, we've got you covered. Visit Knock Embroidery, that's NOCembroidery.com, and let's make something that sticks. And we're back! So speaking of cohesive, as we had to take a break for our FedEx delivery, one of the perks of working in an active work zone and production zone, we're back. So yeah, we were talking about cohesion and a cohesive unit. But yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, now we do have a very good system in place. We have a very cohesive team who is pretty knowledgeable, and our production has gone way up. And even just this morning, we did 600 sweatshirts, just banging them out. So, what's something you brought here that changed how we do things? If you want to pick one or all, go for it.
Well, I don't think it changed much. It's more about bringing in a system that, like you said, when you started from scratch with nothing, you learn your own ways that may work for you, but they weren't perfect for speedy and efficient production. So to give my boys in West Palm at Rip Print a shout out, Justin, Jay, Louie, and Matt, they run that place like a well-oiled machine. Justin and Jay run from the top down, Louie's running the shops, and Matt's on a machine. I couldn't have got taught how to work and produce apparel like this from better people. So really it's just taking what they do at their shop, which took them, 5, 6, I think almost 10 years now to learn. So if anything, we're getting a head start based on what I took from them and brought into our shop here.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And sorry that we stole you from them, but happy to have you here. And yeah, so if someone asked you what it takes to build a solid print shop from scratch, what would you tell them based on all of that experience? And if we had called Steve and said, Steve, we're going to start a print shop and we don't know anything, what do you think would be some, at least a little bit of advice that you could give us?
Well, first and foremost would be a press operator. I mean, the three of us have worked on this press.
Yeah.
You guys for almost over a year now. Me just in the past almost 2 months I've been here. But being efficient and knowing how your machine operates, because they're all different.
Mm-hmm.
I came from working on 3 other machines that is nothing like the one we're on now. So I had to learn the differences in your machine. So having a seasoned operator standing at that press, knowing what adjustments need to be made when something's not coming out right is really important, because as we know, we can lose a half a day in trying to fix an issue with pressure or stroke speed or quality of ink, because we don't know all of those integral parts of the process, where guys that have been doing this for 15 plus years, they see a print go off and they know what the problem is right away. Yeah. Where it could take us 15, 20 minutes sometimes just to figure out where to start fixing something.
Oh yeah.
So a seasoned press operator is what you need to produce stuff, but then the people above that, the people that are putting the orders together, putting the artwork together for you, is the most important part too, because if you don't have good artwork going on your machine, no operator can do anything with that.
Right.
If the artwork isn't 100% when it gets on the machine, it doesn't matter who you are running the operation. They're not going to come out looking good on a piece of apparel.
That's 100% true. And yeah, definitely starting with a seasoned operator probably would be a good move. If you were like, hey, I want to hit the ground running and immediately, definitely if we were doing third-party stuff, right? If this wasn't an in-house operation, then absolutely, right? I mean, we've been fortunate enough to have enough grace from, Jim and Chris, who own Demons Behind Me, also Knock. We've been, I definitely me, because I was here for 2 months by myself monkeying around with this machine and literally tearing it apart, rebuilding it, and figuring it out and the ins and outs of how every piece of it works. It took time. Definitely took time. But, yeah.
But on that, we do not suggest ripping apart your press and putting it back together yourself unless you absolutely have to.
Well, yeah.
Because we have done it a couple times and it's not fun.
It's terrifying. It's a big piece of machinery. It's very expensive. So,
Very.
I've had good support from the company we bought it from though, and they were able to walk me through a lot of the stuff. All right, so that's the season's vet perspective. Let's talk about the new blood. We have Gavin, who is
Young blood.
young, very young. He has a great mustache and a great head of hair for a young guy, though. So, but Gavin is fresh out of high school. So, how in the heck did you end up in a print shop? Not only one, producing a podcast, but two, like basically helping me run this place for like the last couple of months. You know, before Steve got here, it was just you and I. I've taught you pretty much as I knew, and you know now you're pretty much able to kind of run around and do pretty much everything that you know needs to be done. If I'm not here or if Steve's not here, you know you're there to fill in the blank.
Yeah. So, started off my first job at Chubby's, Mr. Chubby's Wings in Ponte Vedra, for those who don't know.
Best wings around, baby.
I have yet to experience that. But
You do have to experience them. They are very good wings. Dishwashing there in the dish pit for probably about a year and a half, actually. Got a raise or two while I was there, and then came over here because Charity was my manager over there.
Yep.
Charity, the manager of our embroidery here. She got me over here, saved me from the dish pit. I'll always be thankful for that, 100%. Got me an actual job. But yeah, 100%. I like working with my hands, 100%. It's nice being able to put something together and see it come off the press. That's very satisfying, especially once I learned how to do all of the registration and how to set up the whole machine by myself. I was very happy the first time I was able to get that all done by myself. It's rewarding.
Yeah.
Very rewarding job.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I definitely know, like Steve said, he came from the restaurant industry. I've worked in the restaurant industry. Working from like 9 at night till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning in the dish pit is not a fun job.
Not at all.
And if you didn't quit like the first week, then you're probably pretty determined. and this is probably a much better situation, you know, learning a trade and
100%.
kind of figuring out, you know, at least having a normal 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
that
yeah.
you get to work with your hands. So speaking of jobs, so when I don't know what they told you about what was going on back here, because for like 3 months it was like a bomb shelter back here. Nobody knew what was happening. It was all very secretive.
Oh, yeah.
Like all the girls up front were just like, I don't know what he's doing back there, but Casey's got something happening. We just we keep seeing these shirts come that the registration's all messed up. And we're just not
Registration's all
sure,
messed
you know. But what did you think this job was going to be versus what it actually is?
Honestly, it's mostly what I expected, other than the machine and just really the whole process being as in-depth and complex as it is. I was just expecting less complexity, to be honest, is all. But yeah, other than just the complexity part, the actual job itself is definitely what I was kind of hoping it would be.
Yeah.
In terms of being able to work on the machine, you know, make art, essentially, is what we're doing back here.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of told at the very beginning, like, you put the stuff on there, and then you press a button, and then it makes a shirt. And so I was like, oh, you know what? Easy peasy.
It has to
like,
be
I
that
can
simple.
100%
Yeah, and
do
just
that.
like anything else, if it was that easy, everyone would do it,
Everyone
right?
would do it.
Exactly. So what's something you've learned here that surprised you?
How much it takes to run a business. I will say, working directly with Chris and Jim, it's fucking crazy how much they do all day to keep that business running and all the intricacies that just come with keeping all that stuff running properly.
Yeah.
It is a lot to it.
Everybody wants to own a business, and nobody wants to work for the man, work
Mhm.
that 9 to 5 until you actually own a business.
Exactly.
And then you realize, like, oh, crap, now I'm responsible for every department. And, like,
Yeah.
here I thought I was going to make my own schedule, like, as a real estate agent. I was like, I'm going to make my own schedule. No. You are at the whim of every other person you work for or who works for you.
Yeah.
So, that's definitely an eye-opening experience. What's been the biggest challenge for you so far?
Biggest challenge for me so far. The biggest challenge for
Besides
me so far.
dealing with me and Jim and Chris, you know.
Oh yeah. Biggest challenge so far though would probably honestly just have to be transitioning from having like a work schedule that's kind of spread out through the week to just straight 9 to 5 after getting out of school.
Yeah.
Would really be the biggest challenge that came with it.
Has part of this though changed? I guess, how you think about your future or what you want to do? Because
Actually, yeah, 100%. Because I was originally planning on going into something in the IT field.
don't do that.
Yeah,
It's
no,
super boring.
super boring, and now it's oversaturated as well. And now
Yes.
that I'm actually working this job, I realize that I would hate to be on a computer all day.
Hmm.
In silence, that sucks. I like that I get to just blast my music and work with a big ass piece of machinery.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, and I mean, you do music and things too, which is how you ended up behind the mic board. You
Yeah.
know, the mixing board over here.
Hmm.
So I definitely know from experience as a musician, like when you're working a 9 to 5 job, you have a little bit more time to kind of mess around with your music in the evening and stuff. So are
Yeah,
you writing
exactly.
any new material?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
when do we get to hear Gavin's new jam? Is
Oh,
it going to be Taylor Swift compilations?
TBD, TBD.
So if you could tell someone your age one thing about jumping into the real world, what would it be other than don't?
Other than don't learn as much financial literacy as you can. Get as financially literate as possible. Learn as much as you can about saving money, where you can specifically save money, and just don't spend it on stuff that's stupid.
I mean, I think that's anybody at any age.
Oh yeah.
I think some people don't learn that for a long time, but I mean, I still, hey, I got a budget, but I'm balling on it. You know what I mean? So, all right, so that's y'all's story. I guess it's my turn. So, whoever wants to ask me questions, go ahead.
Okay, so you came from a completely different world, sales and marketing. What made you want to leave that and start something new?
Well, I was really burnt out from my previous job.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked 70 hours a week.
Damn.
I had 70 agents who I was dealing with as the director of inside sales for a real estate team
Yeah.
in Raleigh, North Carolina. Um, but there's only so much time you can sit behind a computer, and there's only so much time you can stare at spreadsheets and things like
100%.
that. And before you're just like, okay. But at the same time, too, I was turning 40, and I've told my wife numerous times over the years, I'm like, I just want to wake up and feel like I'm on vacation.
Hmm.
And I started really questioning why people live where they live. Why do you end up where you end up?
Yeah.
And I've been in Raleigh for 20 years. My parents moved me there straight out of high school. So a week after I graduated high school, I literally left everything I knew and moved to Raleigh.
Dang.
Yep. That is a whole nother story because over the last 20 years, lots of things have obviously happened.
Oh, yeah.
But I will say, like, my part, I guess, with Demons Behind Me and things like that is, like, I'm part of the brand. I live the brand. I've been sober for 17, going on 18 years.
Nice.
But, they say to change the people, places, and things in recovery, and I changed the people and I changed the things, but I never changed the places. So, like, where I was working, I would sit in my office every single day, and I would look out the window, and I was always in my old stomping grounds, right? And even though I wasn't doing the things that I was doing, like, just being in that environment, I never felt like I could be myself. I felt like I always had to be somebody else.
Mhm.
So that's why I told my wife. And when this opportunity came up, I was like, okay, you know what? It's a better opportunity for my son for school and things like that.
For
My
sure.
wife works remote, so there wasn't much of an issue there. And I just wanted to see palm trees.
I
For
love
the
palm
love
trees.
of God, I just wanted to wake up in the morning and see palm trees. And so, we kind of took a big chance. And I think this whole thing started as a joke, with Jim kind of texting me after we hung out on New Year's. And he said, move to Jacksonville, I'll give you a job. And I said, challenge accepted, so like it or not, here I am. But,
So the question is, have you seen enough palm trees? Because Jacksonville's a lot of marsh here.
my neighborhood has a lot of palm
Okay,
trees.
yeah. Oh, you live in a nice neighborhood. then.
Yes, yeah. So I walk down my neighborhood and I see palm trees and I'm like, yeah, all right. Like every morning I get up at 5 and I walk my dog and I'm like, I skipped like most people's midlife crisis at 40. I didn't trade my wife in for two 20-year-olds and I didn't buy a Corvette. I said, no, I've already had that fun in my life. I'm going to skip right to 65. I'm going to go buy a
65.
single-story house in Florida. And
No stairs, no snow, right?
Yeah, I'm like, so this is my midlife crisis, is pretty much being elderly. But no, that's kind of why I came down here, was just a change of life, different comfort of living. And
Yeah.
honestly, too, like, Jim is my cousin. He owns Demons Behind Me. I don't know if we talk about that or if I'm supposed to, but there it is. Surprise. But you know, Jim has a great family. He has a great
Nepo
family.
baby, but he works hard.
Yes.
He works hard.
Look, my dad told me a long time ago, you know, it's easy to get a job, it's harder to keep a job,
Oh yeah.
right? So like I got the opportunity, maybe the door was open because of that, but at the same time, I don't think I would still be here, and I don't think he'd be wasting his money
Oh yeah. No.
if it wasn't worth it. But yeah, I mean, he's got a great family, and we didn't have. My son has no cousins in Raleigh. My brothers don't have kids or anything. So like moving down here and kind of being part of a community that is a little bit more people my age who are in the same like space of my life. That part was a huge drawing factor.
Oh yeah. Where do you see all this going? The shop, the podcast, the bigger picture?
I mean, I am a very, very optimistic, big picture thinker, and I don't do anything. I'm gonna say this, but hopefully it doesn't get bleeped out. But I don't do anything half-ass. I whole-ass everything. Okay. I am a excessive person, so I want to see third-party production. I want to see more machines. I want a bigger building. I want more staff. I want to take this thing to the moon, to the stratosphere. Like, we can grow this business exponentially, and that is where I want to see this going, and that's where I think all of us want to end up, right?
100%. Basically, you started with a precedent idea. Somehow it turned into all of this.
Yeah, pretty much. And it wasn't even my idea or my press.
Or my press.
Yeah, so somebody else had the press, somebody else had the idea, and it was basically up to me to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, so good. So, yeah, I mean, we didn't really shortcut anything throughout this process. I mean, we just kept learning, kept working, and trusted the process, as they say. I mean, that's really what Off Contact is about. This is about our learning experience with dealing with the machine, starting up a printing operation, you know, all of us coming from different places, different backgrounds, different locales, kind of ending up here and how we're all making it work. And like one common theme though, and I was thinking about the podcast and what we were going to do here. One thing I kept thinking about is I was like, well, what's the narrative? Like, you know, we're obviously going to talk about printing and we're going to talk about inks and Off Contact, and we'll talk about shirts and all that other fun stuff.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, a lot of this really is about people who are willing to take a leap and go do something that they believe in and take a chance on not only themselves, but somebody else, and then just see how far we can take it.
For sure.
Just like this podcast, because I don't think any of us have done any podcasting. So
Nope.
we are very much just like, let's fire it up and see where it goes.
I like that.
So that's who we are. Three people from three different places, just learning how to build something that matters. So next week, we'll talk about the real star of this shop, the machine itself, how it changed everything, and how it almost broke us trying to figure it out, fix it, and make it work. But thank you for listening. Again, this is Off Contact. We'll see you next time. This episode of Off Contact is powered by Demons Behind Me, a lifestyle brand built on strength, resilience, and moving forward no matter what's behind you. From shirts and shorts to outerwear and accessories, it's a full line for men, women, and kids, built to remind you that your story isn't over yet. Check out the latest designs and collections at demonsbehindme.com and wear your story with pride.